Hello, this is a video about the capital budgeting assignment, which is due in week 8. There are several things that you need to accomplish in this. The first is to identify the costs of capital and then the weighted average cost of capital. This is a video related to that. There will be another video related to the financial modeling, financial forecasting component of the assignment. So this is the instructions, the first part of the instructions of the assignment, along with the market values of capital. We see in this last sentence, remember that management has a preference for the market values of capital, and we see that here. And so we see the various pieces of information. I've given this spreadsheet as just a template for you to use. So what I'm going to do is show you how to do the first line item here, which is the bond valuation. So, what we have, there are 60,000 bonds that are outstanding. There is 15 years left to maturity. There is a coupon rate of 10%. We know that it is a semi-annual coupon, so we will need to calculate that. We have a current price, which is given, the $874.78. The face value on a corporate bond, if you remember back to the chapter on bond valuation, it is $1,000. So the semi-annual payment would be 10% of the face value divided by 2, which would give us $50. Once we have this information, we can calculate the cost of debt. The cost of debt is the rate calculation. In Excel, what we can do is actually use the rate function, or if you're new to Excel, you can go to the insert function button. You can type in rate. It just happens to be there right there, and it gives you this dialog box. And so we see here we have some information that's provided. N is number of periods. Well, it is 15 years, however, because it is semi-annual, we need to multiply that by 2. The payment, $50. The present value, which needs to be a negative number, and this is a cash inflow-outflow issue, so don't freak out too much about that. And then the future value is that principal payment at the end. We see here, we get this interest rate here, which is 5.9%. Now, we should note that that's the 6-month rate. So if we multiply it by 2, it gives us 11.8%. Now, we know that the tax rate, 40%, is over there, and so we want to plug that in. And then what happens is when we get to the weighted average cost of capital, what we will need to do is multiply that times 1 minus the tax rate to get the after-tax. And if we see here, the after-tax rate is 7.08, and then what we would do, take that times the market weight of bonds, and that would give us the first component of the weighted average cost of capital. And so I encourage you to look at the chapters related to that, because what you'll discover is that you'll need to do the common stock, or the preferred stock here, which I just did, plus the common stock times the average of these two, which would be in that cell there. And so you get this equation that, let's see here, we've got, I need to just correct that. All right. So you'd see an equation that would line up the various cells. And so we would have that there. So to calculate the market weights, what we need to find is the market value. Well, the market value is just the price times the quantity. And so we get that, and so you would need to do that for each of your market securities as well. And so this is the first component, again, trying to calculate this ultimate value here. So, you know, that divided by the total value, and so we get that value. And so, of course, this is giving us an error until we plug in those other values. So hopefully that helps. Use this information to plug in these cells and calculate this value, weighted average cost of capital.